Before we get into this episode, I would like to make a quick disclaimer that all of Society Inspired's interviews and the information we share are 100% for learning experience and to hear the different sides of the various issues we discuss. We never endorse nor support violence, and we are committed to promoting peace. I want to create a safe space for learning and comfortable place for people to be able to start to speak. Hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 24th episode of Society Inspired. My name is Gemma. I'm 16 years old and a Palestinian American teen. I'm so excited to have Muzhda Akbari as our special guest for episode number 24. Would you like to introduce yourself, tell us your story, and also share your preferred pronouns, please?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, hello everyone, and also thank you so much, Jamal, for having me in your podcast today. And also thank you so much for giving me an opportunity so I can share my story with the world. So my name is Muzhda Akbari, and I go with pronouns she and her. So I'm from Afghanistan. I'm 18 years old in grade 12, and I'm the founder of Good Green Afghanistan, an organization with the mission to provide quality education to girls in Afghanistan and also to create a sense of community for girls so they can share their stories and life. And yeah, that's it. And I'm so happy to be here today.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited for this conversation. For the next 3 months, we will be focusing on the topic of feminism, but today we are zoning in on girls' rights to education. So what inspired you to start advocating for women in education spaces?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to the topic of education, of course, when we talk about Afghanistan, there are so many limitations, there are so many challenges that we as girls we faced in Afghanistan. But for me, the journey started when I received the news of my childhood best friend. She was 14 years old when she was forced into a child marriage. She couldn't go to school after that, and for me it was very hard because I knew her, like she was literally like my sister. I knew her potential, I knew her dreams, like we shared everything together. So once I got that news, like my immediate reaction to it was crying. But then after like several days and months passed, I said, okay, I have to do something about it. Like I have to be, I saw that I recognized that there is an urgent need for change, and I would do anything to be part of that. And then at the time, like the only ability I had was reading and writing. So what I did was I started writing about girls' right to education. I started giving speeches in my school, and that kind of motivated me to share my articles with websites like UNICEF, with Malala Fan. So it kind of gave me a motivation to do more. And then the other thing that I want to say is that for me, like advocating for education is a must. It never been an option because, like again, I've always been privileged enough to grow up in a family that they supported my education, that they supported my dreams. And so seeing that other girls just like me, they're not in this position that I am. So I kind of felt that sense of responsibility to do something. And yeah, I think basically it started from that, and also like recognizing that how education is important. It is also important that we kind of do something about it. It doesn't matter how old are you, or you're a girl or boy, you can always take part in this change. So yeah, it kind of started from that.
Yeah, wow. 14. That's young. What happens to girls in countries like Lebanon, Turkey, Jordan, Afghanistan, etc., where girls are denied the right to education at a young age?
Yeah, I think, in Afghanistan, we have a saying, and that is when one door closes, another door will soon be open. So I personally believe when the doors to education, knowledge, understanding, and awareness closes, of course, there will be doors open for ignorance. doors will be open for human trafficking, doors will be open for child labor, for child marriages. And this is exactly happening in countries like Afghanistan and any other country where where they limit girls to education or to go to schools. So at the same time, education, when we talk about girls' education, it is not just about girls' education. It's about the empowerment of the society. It's about the empowerment of a family. So
Mm.
when we kind of deny their right to education, we're actually denying the improvement of our countries. We're denying the fact that we want to have a powerful country. So if we want to have a powerful country, why we should deny 50% of the society to be part of that empowerment? So I think, when we see that these countries are denying these rights, we will probably and for sure see there will be cycles of poverty, there will be cycles of extremism, there will be cycles of so many problems, that the only way to solve these problems will be that everyone in the society, including women, girls, men, everyone come together and fight for those changes and try to work together so they can empower each other, at the same time trying to build their countries and nations.
Yeah, I feel like it's a really good point with you saying, like, why deny half the country something? If
Yeah,
we want to be a better country, then why deny half the country
exactly.
something that will make it better? I've never thought about it that way because I've automatically always just thought like everybody should have equal rights to education no matter who they are and where they're from. Um, but yeah, definitely people who are closed off, that's another way to think about it because I definitely was like, that makes a lot of sense. Um, you are a refugee from Afghanistan, and you were able to go to school until you were 16, until the Taliban retook control. So, what was navigating that like, and how did it feel to have your education stripped away?
I think, when I was thinking about the Taliban, whenever during like this past 16 years of my life, this past 18 years of my life, basically. So when I think about the Taliban, the first thing that automatically come to my mind is there will be a time where girls and women will not be able to get and receive all these opportunities that we just talked about: education, empowerment, work, and everything. So once I learned that Taliban took my country, at that exact moment, everything, like literally for me, the whole world was stopped. Because I was in the like when I was in Afghanistan, I've always been this passionate girl who wanted to do something, who was so passionate about going to school, who left like I loved my school, I loved my
Yeah.
friends and everyone. And then once you see that, okay, from now on I'm not going to go to that place, I will not be able to receive the education, and all the work that I have put in this past few years of my high school or my school will be zero. And that is exactly happened in Afghanistan. It is like today girls cannot go to school, at the same time they cannot go to universities. And I think it is so hard. Like, just imagine one day you wake up and someone says, from now on you will be in this room and you cannot go out. And that is exactly happening in Afghanistan, because your dreams, the goals that you have for your future, those are the most important things. Like, those are the most important part of your
Yeah.
individuality,
Mhm.
because those are the things that you know about, and no one know about those things, because all those things are in your heart.
Yeah.
And taking that away is something so sad, and sometimes there is no word to describe it,
Mhm.
basically. But also, I think the saddest part right now is, of course, first of all, I am lucky enough that I am here in Canada. I'm receiving education, and we are all privileged enough to do all these things that we are doing right now. But when we talk about girls in Afghanistan right now, the fact that their dreams, their opportunities are taken, it is something that, like right now there is something happening in Afghanistan, and that is most of girls are hating themselves. You know what I mean? Like most of girls are hating themselves. And why? Because they don't have anything to do right now. The only option for them is to get married. And
Yeah.
for us, like right now we have goals. Like someone say, okay, you can't reach your goals, so now go marry. And that is something unacceptable for us because of course we say like, no, I have the opportunity, I have the potential, and I want to reach those goals.
Okay.
So I think it is so sad. And also in this past 2 years, the rate of like child marriages increased. So most of girls were forced into marriages. Most of little kids were left alone in hospitals. Why? Because they were girls. And this is something we don't see it in the newses because like Taliban do not want to show that. But there were many stories I heard in this past 2 years that girls committed suicide. And I mean, like, it's so sad to even think about it and to say at the same time, like, all I wanna like to see is sometimes, okay, I wanna wake up and someone say all everything that happened was just a dream. But unfortunately, it is not. It is something happening. Today, Afghanistan is the only country where girls are not able to go to school, are not able to go to university. Basically, they're not able to live the life that they want to live.
Yeah, I can imagine. And when I hear things like this, I sometimes think about like how lucky I am to never had to even second guess my education. And I know like especially if you're a younger person watching this or even somebody that's in university, like after listening to this, I encourage you to like yes, it can be difficult to complete school sometimes, just mentally it can be a lot, but let's not take advantage of it because there are people who just wish to be able to learn and have a purpose, you know? So, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine. Um,
Exactly. Like, as you said, whenever I come to school every day, when I sit in my classroom, I feel so lucky. I feel so privileged to be able to study. And then every day, like when I like just see the school, the first thing that comes to my mind is the memories I had in schools in Afghanistan. And that kind of automatically reflect the fact that today my classmates aren't in a position that I am, and I kind of feel guilty about it. And that's just sad, like to see. At the same time, I feel lucky, but also guilty. And I think this is the feeling that most of us share, like most of Afghan refugees who were able to come. But yeah, I think the saddest part would be again that we cannot do anything big or to change it. But yeah, let's be hopeful that something good happens. And I'm always like wishful that we can do something about this, that we can at least inspire those girls at this sad and this dark times of Afghanistan.
yeah. And adding on to that, sorry, we're just having a conversation. It's this was something I wanted to talk about. And when you messaged me about it, I was like, yes, because there really isn't anything as an outsider that we can directly do except hope, but also, spread awareness. Um, so jumping into the next question, you run an organization called Code Green Afghanistan. So can you tell us more about that and what its goals are?
Yeah. So Code Green Afghanistan is something very close to my heart, and it started like in a way that I never thought it would become this big that it is right now.
Okay.
So when we became refugees to Pakistan, we spent 1 year in Pakistan. And during that time, as refugees, we weren't able to go to school because we didn't have documentations and all those things. So we weren't able to go to school. And then during that time, I kind of went into this trauma and depression where I didn't have any purpose for my future, as we just talked about, because everything was like destroyed, basically. So then one day I said, no, I shouldn't just keep like life. I shouldn't like just wait for an opportunity to come for something to say, okay, now you can have all these things.
Yeah.
Because again, I was lucky enough to be in another country, not to be in Afghanistan at that time. So what I did was, okay, let's learn coding.
Yes.
I decided to learn how to code, and with coding kind of came excitement, it kind of came joy. And whenever I used to code, it kind of felt so empowered and I felt so passionate. And that was why, like, sometimes I would spend every, like, the whole night coding, like, because I was so inspired and happy. And then one day I kind of said, okay, if this giving me this much joy, this much excitement and all those things, why not share it with one friend? Like, with one friend who is right now in Afghanistan, why not share this joy and this enjoyment with them? So what I did was I just, like, put a post in my Instagram, and I said, okay, I'm planning to do a course in web development, in coding. Anyone, is there anyone who is interested in joining? And I received 30 messages, and actually 30 girls, including 10 refugees, joined in this course. And I was so excited. It was something challenging for me because, like, naturally I'm a very introvert person, like, I'm also shy, but then I had to do this course. It was kind of hard, but yeah, we did it. And this, after 2 months, we came to Canada, to here.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, now I want to do something bigger about it. So what I did was I created a website by the name of goodgreenafghanistan.org. So what we have in our website is, one part of it is providing courses for girls in Afghanistan. We provide courses in math. Well, right now, one of our math classes has over about 200 students.
Wow.
We are, like, planning to have English courses. We have courses in different subjects. At the same time, we have one section where we provide different resources we find online, and then we add the links there, so it will be easy for girls to just find them. We have one section where we share the stories of girls. We give an opportunity for women and girls in Afghanistan, if they have anything to share with the world. We want to be that bridge between them and the world. So we share their stories. We are planning to have a podcast in future, hopefully, let's see. And at the same time, we are kind of also planning to have some different events where we just don't give an opportunity for them to learn, but also trying to create an opportunity where they use the things that they have learned already or they know already. So we want to create that environment and add that atmosphere for them. Yeah, so this is Good Green Afghanistan, and I think at the same time, one of the most important things that I want to do with this project or this organization is to raise awareness about women and girls in Afghanistan, to show the fact that when we are given opportunities, when we are given a place to grow, we can use it.
Yes.
And um, we can do anything basically we want. And I think this is one of the messages I want to share with the world, that girls need to be, like, even if whatever happening there, but still there's a hope for change, and we can be part of that change by doing anything we can do.
Oh, I didn't know. I looked at your website, but I did not see all those courses. That's amazing. That's really amazing.
Thank you.
Um, how can we support your organization and what it does?
Yeah, so I think your support would mean a lot. And one of the greatest thing I think anyone can do in order to help us is to join our mission. And that mission is to raise awareness about what is going on right now in Afghanistan. And that could be helping girls. Like, we are planning to have different courses. So, like, if there is someone who wants to teach girls in Afghanistan, like teaching them English, teach them math, anything, you can reach out to us. We would love to create the courses for you so you can teach those girls in Afghanistan. But basically, as I said, the most important way would be trying to join our mission, which is raising awareness about the situation of women and girls in Afghanistan.
So, and I know we kind of said earlier that, since it's a government issue, we cannot as a society outside of it, do just direct work to change what is happening. But we talked about your organization and the awareness it brings to girls in Afghanistan. But how else, as a society, can we ensure that everyone, no matter who they are, has equal education rights?
Mhm. I think as you just talked about it, also like to be part of a society where we kind of see each other as equal, to
Yeah.
feel the way that okay, if there is pain going on in Afghanistan, I am also part of. I also feel that pain, and I
Yeah.
want to do something about it. I think it is the most powerful thing that anyone can do. And there is unfortunately one thing happening right now is that there are double standards when it comes to certain countries. Like when it comes to Afghanistan, for example, most of like organizations are just ignoring the fact that whatever happening right now there. So one thing would be trying to understand that we all can be part of that change. That could be by help, like by donating $1. It can start with that,
Yeah.
by trying to one day, if there's an opportunity, try to use your voice against whatever happening there. Like when you have a platform, for example, you can talk about, as you did, you give me an opportunity to speak out about these challenges. I think it's a great thing that you have done, and I really appreciate that.
You
So that would be start with that. And I think there are different ways too, like if you have an organization, you can create a space for women and girls in Afghanistan. So I think one other thing would be collaborations between different sectors. It could be, even if you're an artist, you can do something about all these things that are happening in Afghanistan.
Yes, for sure. Just spreading awareness, talking about it, bringing it to people's attention, I feel like is probably one of the strongest ways to create change. It doesn't
Exactly.
always need to be direct. I also have a little additional question that I just thought of. Um, two girls in Afghanistan, do you have any advice or words of courage to give to them if they want to share their message about what's happening in their lives on the internet, but it's obviously a very difficult situation that they're in, and I can't imagine the fear that I would feel speaking out about it because I don't know, who's online, who's watching my stuff, and if, anything could happen to me because of it. So do you have any words of advice, courage, maybe to girls in Afghanistan who want to share their story, who want to spread awareness about their own lives?
Mhm. So as you said, actually, it's very hard to just imagine what is going on there. And sometimes even when I talk with some of my friends, I can't even use the word "how are you doing?" because it's hard to ask them how are you doing, because like whatever happening there. So I think they're extremely courageous. They're the bravest people I ever know. And I think what advice for them would be never lose hope. I think there will be an end for every darkness, for every, like, whenever there is an oppression, there is ignorance, there will be a light at the end of the day. So never lose hope. And I think always believe in yourself. At the end of the day, like, we as people who have our privilege enough right now, what I want to say is that I will try my best to do something about it, but I
Yeah,
want you to always be hopeful and do not lose hope, and do not just give all the power that you have for them, because your power, your courage is the most powerful weapon against them, because whatever they're doing is all against you. Why they should be afraid of you? Because there is something about you that they are afraid of,
yeah,
and
yes,
that is your power within you, and I don't want you to lose that power. Always have it. And
yeah,
I want to say, like, I'm so proud of each one of them. Like right now that we have 200 girls in our math course, sometimes I think of it like, despite all the challenges, all the limitation, the internet is worse in Afghanistan, but still they put time, they put effort to learn. That is the most amazing thing, and I
Yes.
really appreciate that.
Yes. Um, well, are there any resources you want my followers and me to read, watch, listen to? I already will have your organization linked below. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think right now there are many resources. When we like search about Afghanistan, there will come up so many things. But if you want to like kind of learn more about the situation of Afghanistan in a different perspective, one very good resource is Khalid Hosseini's books. One is The Kite Runner, is such a beautiful book. You can read that. It kind of gives you a different perspective about what is going on in Afghanistan. And then if you would love to like learn more about me, you can also, as you said, check out our website, my social media. I have also written some articles in different websites such as Malala Fan, Malala Assembly. You can check out that. But again, so when you just like search the word Afghanistan, I think there will come up so many things. You can check out those. Yeah, so that would be the great resources like out there would be, of course, like checking out what is going on in Afghanistan. And I think also there are some other journalists who are right now living in Afghanistan. So you can also like check, like trying to follow them in order to, in compared to following some other resources who are trying to show something different. Because it was funny that right now I see that there are so many tourists going to Afghanistan, and all they show is food, and like the only thing that they show is food. And sometimes I say, okay, you go to Afghanistan and there are so many things happening, and the only thing that you show to the world is food. So I said, don't don't watch those resources. Yeah, go check out some other resources.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned your social media, but where else can we find you to follow your story and what you're doing? And I will also have those linked below.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, I have my website, which is goodgreenafghanistan.org, my Instagram, Muzhda Akbari, and also you can find me in LinkedIn too. It is Muzhda Akbari, and like right now, for now, I'm in these three platforms.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. Make sure you follow Mushta on her other social media platforms and support Code Green Afghanistan. And please spread awareness about girls' rights to education. And then make sure to follow our other social media platforms as well so you don't miss out on more interviews and important information. I hope you enjoyed the 24th episode of Society Inspired, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.